Hi guys, it is Dani'i and welcome to this afternoon update video on Tropical Storm Melissa. So it is trying to reorganize, get itself a lot better, especially with the reduction in those upper level winds. So that is definitely taking place right now for the system. And Jamaica is now under a hurricane watch, and the tropical storm watch has been upgraded to a tropical storm warning. And there's also both a hurricane watch and tropical storm warning in effect for the southern part of Haiti. So let's go into the details. Okay, so here we can see Melissa producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. So it's been bringing quite a bit of rainfall to Hispaniola, going to even as far as Puerto Rico and in the vicinity of the southern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands. A few showers have moved through Jamaica as the outermost periphery of the system approaches with some of those clouds, but nothing much going on. As I highlighted in a previous video, I was not expecting much today, but it's really as we head into tomorrow, especially late tomorrow into Saturday, is when I'm expecting those impacts to really kick up. So those tropical storm impacts will likely begin in Jamaica, starting with some of our south and eastern islands Saturday. And then that's not going to be the end of the story. This is a slow mover that is going to intensify significantly over the coming days. So here we're looking at the cone forecast for it. We can see the blue highlights indicating that tropical storm warning and the pink showcasing the hurricane watch. Now look at this. The system is currently moving to the north-northwest at 2 miles per hour. And as the wind shear gradually decreases and allows the system to intensify undisturbed by Saturday morning, it is likely to become a Category 1 hurricane. But a period of rapid intensification is expected as we're going to be headed into the new week. So by Sunday, it's likely to become a major hurricane just about 24 hours after it becomes a hurricane. It would be up to Category 3 hurricane status. And then by early Monday, it's going to be passing south of Jamaica. By that time, it may have winds up to 130 miles per hour, making it a Category 4 hurricane. But that's still not the end of the story. The system has the potential to make landfall, meaning the full brunt of impacts will be highly possible in Jamaica as we're going to be headed into next week. So we're talking about days and days of impacts, starting out with the heavy rain especially, and then those hurricane impacts will eventually begin. Now, Melissa weakened slightly compared to this morning because it had maximum winds up to 50 miles per hour. That's reduced slightly to 45 miles per hour. However, it is definitely getting itself back together and will be intensifying. Now, look at the model track guidance. It's safe to say that the majority of these models available are showing that Jamaica could be dealing with a direct hit from the system. And that's as we're going to be headed maybe into Tuesday or very early Wednesday next week. So impacts from tomorrow on Friday all the way through Wednesday, almost a week of those dangerous impacts, guys. This is not a situation that is to be downplayed whatsoever. And I would be lying if I said that I wasn't feeling unsettled. Living here in Jamaica and having somewhat of an idea. I mean, I experienced a part of Beryl last year. To put into perspective, I'm in St. James, that's on the northwestern side of the island, and I experienced Beryl. And with those winds, it was actually a bit difficult to fathom that this is not even sustained at Category 1 intensity because the worst of Beryl stayed offshore, so we didn't get a Cat 4 in full in St. James. And to think that we could potentially deal with landfall of a system that is much, much stronger, a lot more intense, it is just absolutely mind-blowing to even think about. But it is becoming a very real possible scenario, and we have to prepare for the worst. My fellow Jamaicans, now is not the time to downplay the system. It is much better if we prepare and the impacts maybe are not as horrible than to not make the necessary preparations and then somewhat caught off guard. It's very unnerving. I am not gonna lie, guys. It is very much an unnerving scenario here. And then thereafter, for eastern Cuba, we could see a second landfall from Melissa at that time. and then it's likely to move through parts of the Bahamas. And then for Haiti, although it is pretty unlikely that Haiti will be dealing with a direct hit, it is likely that there will be a lot more rain. There's already been flooding. Unfortunately, I saw where an elderly man lost his life due to the effects of Melissa. Very, very unfortunate. These are the things I despise hearing about when it comes to these tropical cyclones. So, yeah, there's likely to be additional periods of heavy rain and those strong winds, maybe gusting up to hurricane force, hence that hurricane watch, which is in effect for the island. But if it gets less and less likely that the system will produce the hurricane force winds, then that watch, the hurricane watch could be discontinued, but the tropical storm warning is likely to remain. So all of that heavy rainfall with those instances of flood and landslides, that's likely to continue now through the weekend in southern Haiti and even parts of the southern Dominican Republic as well. And in terms of the conditions, why would we have rapid intensification? I've been talking about this. Deep, warm waters. These waters in the Caribbean have mostly been untapped throughout the hurricane season, so we have a lot of energy sitting around waiting to just fuel Melissa. Matter of fact, it's been doing that. That's why it even sustained itself so well despite the upper level winds being very strong at one point. And the moment we get these upper level winds relaxing, which will likely be happening within a day or so, is when we will be seeing that rapid intensification take place. The Euro model is one of the most accurate models, and it has been showing a high-end Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane making landfall in Jamaica next week. It's very hard to think about because the last major hurricane landfall we had was Gilbert almost 40 years ago. I mean, that would be an absolutely catastrophic scenario to actually experience. So I'll continue to monitor this, guys. It is definitely not something that we want to experience at all. So I'll be keeping you posted as time goes by. And that's it for now. So I do hope you found this brief update to be informative. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll get to you when I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.